I'm Ken Fox.
And I'm Maitland McDonough. And welcome to a very special holiday edition of Movie Talk.
And happy holidays to you, Maitland McDonough.
And where do you come up wishing me happy holidays? You know I hate the holidays.
I hate the holidays, too.
Okay. However, I don't hate all holiday movies. Okay?
No, I don't either. I don't either.
How horrible a person would you have to be not to love Kris Kringle in Miracle on 34th?
Oh, that's the uber Santa movie.
Absolutely.
What a charmer. I mean, we even like it.
We even like it. And one of the things I like about it is that although it certainly does endorse the holiday spirit, it's got a wonderful, nice, charming Santa in it. The first Santa you see in it is a Santa who's supposed to be on the Macy's Day float.
Right.
And he's so drunk.
He's so drunk.
That Susan's mom has to throw him off the float.
Yeah, it's so funny. And then they bring in this other Kris Kringle who claims to be the real Kris Kringle.
Who, frankly, seems like a little bit of a nut job.
Yeah.
Because he does insist he really is Kris Kringle.
Right.
And nobody believes him, least of all this little girl. I mean, she must be 9.
Right.
And she totally knows there's no Santa. And
she's such a hard-edged little New Yorker. And that's what I really loved about this movie, too, is that it really captures New York at a very particular time. It's sort of like that post-war, Manhattan, when things are sort of getting back to normal again. And, it's this big holiday celebration. It's a wonderful little time capsule, as well as being a great, charming holiday movie.
Although I also love that, people are always bemoaning today that kids are so cynical now. And kids
They were just as cynical back then. Well, I guess the Santa Claus is the modern-day version of Miracle on 34th Street in a way, and that it kind of gives us a sort of a slight reinvention of the Santa Claus myth.
And it has that same kind of mix of genuine holiday uplift without all the saccharin.
Right.
You know what I love about this movie is I love that this is the movie where being Santa is a job.
Right.
It's a job.
Yeah, and it's a hard one.
And you have a contract.
Right.
And it's got clauses.
And you can't get out of it. What I don't like about this movie is Santa Claus 2 and Santa Claus 3.
Santa Claus 3, particularly. I saw that only last year. My God, what a nightmare.
Diminishing returns. Another really charming, although I wouldn't say it's a particularly good movie, but it really is one of my favorites, is Santa Claus. The Mexican Santa Claus, not the one with Dudley Moore. So this movie is from 1959.
And it's crazy.
It's completely crazy. It was directed by someone named Rene Cardona, and that's all I know about him.
Oh, no, you don't. He directed Night of the Bloody Eight.
Oh, did he really?
Yes.
Oh, that's the Mexican wrestling
heart transplant
movie with the heart transplant footage in it. I do know who this is. Yeah. Well, this movie, Santa Claus, was brought to the United States by none other than K. Gordon Murray, who's sort of like an exploitation distributor working out of Florida.
And we love K. Gordon Murray because what he did, his whole business plan was to buy up really cheap foreign movies, a lot of Mexican movies, but also Russian movies, all kinds of European movies.
A lot of them were sort of like juvenile, sort of kid-aimed, sort of
fairy
fantasy
tale
stuff. I know he had a Little Red Riding Hood. He had a movie about a skunk. Although you still wind up with these completely bizarre things, like the fact that the devil is a major character in this movie.
Absolutely.
And that's not so unusual in places like Europe, because there's that whole tradition of Krampus. Who is like Santa's sidekick, and he actually is a devil figure.
And he's the guy who puts the coal in bad
Well,
kids'
if you're lucky, you get coal. If you're not lucky, if you've been really naughty, he whacks you with a stick. Well, now on to my favorite movies, and these are movies that generally feature a Santa Claus who's not particularly nice. In fact, he's downright bad. Some of these bad Santa movies are comedies, but most of them are horror movies because there really is something creepy about Santa Claus.
Absolutely. He comes down your chimney in the middle of the night, he pokes around your house while you're asleep, he leaves stuff, he eats food. I mean,
it's a home invasion.
At best he's a cat
Charlie
burglar.
Manson in a red suit.
And I think the first movie you have to talk about when you talk about the bad Santa movies.
Oh yeah, Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now this is like, I guess 1984 this movie came out, and it's not only the tail end of the slasher cycle, but it's a tail end of all of these holiday-themed slasher movies that I guess was kicked off by Halloween. But every year you'd get,
My Bloody Valentine,
April
New
Fool's
Year's
Day,
Eve.
New Year's Evil.
Oh, yeah, one after the other.
Yes.
This movie really struck a nerve. I mean, it caused protests and editorials. And
of course, none of this was from the people who'd actually seen the movie.
Well, I mean, it was before the thing had ever opened that everybody was outraged.
I remember it was the poster that caused all the problems.
And the poster was the best, because the poster just showed this snowy, beautiful rooftop, and there's Santa climbing into the chimney, and he's got a great big axe.
You just see his arm hanging out of the... Yeah, it was just great. It's a bloody axe. So either he's on his way in, or he's coming out. after having delivered his presents for Christmas Eve.
Special for you, bad kid.
I guess you can't screw around. There are certain things that are sacred. Jesus is one of them. Santa Claus is another. You just can't imply that there's something kind of evil and sinister about Santa and scare the bejesus out of little kids who now are going to be frightened on Christmas Eve that Santa's going to come with an axe.
And the fact is, we should say in defense of all these movies that none of them actually ever imply or state outright that Santa is evil.
Right.
It's always a madman, a thief.
It's not really Santa Claus.
It's not Santa
Although it
Claus.
should be, but anyway.
It's the perfect dyspeptic Santa movie for people who just have had enough of this holly jolly ho 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 stuff.
But actually, the really evil Santa movie that sticks in my mind most, because I saw it when I was 8 years old,
perfect age.
Yeah, it was Tales from the Crypt, which is not the series, but this is the original Amicus anthology horror movie that came out in, 1972. I just dated myself, but who cares?
But if you can't date yourself, who can you date?
That's right. Well, it's terrific. It's the all through the house segment of, I guess there are 4 stories that make up this one. This one's the best.
If you know the Tales from the Crypt formula, you don't have to be told how that all ends.
Right.
But the joy in seeing it happen is so great.
And it comes from a child's innocence, which is what I love about it so much.
And
it's
she's
really
a cute
great.
little girl, too.
She really
very
is.
sweet.
And it's a really scary Santa.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was when I was 8, and I'm sure he still is today.
No,
but he's really frightening looking,
is.
and you don't see his face until, quite to the very end. You sort of see him moving out. You see, like, sinister red and white shadows, like, kind of moving around.
He's lurking outside the house.
Yeah. And she's busy trying to, like, cover up this crime, and meanwhile you hear on the radio, this guy's escaped from the asylum.
He's homicidal and he's dressed like Father Christmas.
Oh, it's terrific. It's my favorite.
It's the best. I absolutely love it. Now, of course, you can't talk about Bad Santas without talking about Bad Santa.
Exactly. I'm kind of in the Big Lebowski camp with this one. I don't like the Big Lebowski, and I frankly don't really like Bad Santa that much.
I know.
Don't really get it. I didn't get it when I saw it. Please help me like this movie, because everybody else does.
I like this movie as much as I do, because it is so unrepentantly, unapologetically, vilely negative about all things Christmas.
Okay. And you're winning me over. Continue.
I love that, frankly, there is no redemption. I mean, Bad Santa does a less bad thing at the end of it, but that's
it's not
as good
necessarily
as it
a good thing. That's true. That's true.
As good as it gets.
Yeah.
And it also, I think, probably plays to the fact that when I was a kid, I hated department store Santas. I just thought they were gross and weird. I always hated that they didn't have real beards and that you could always see that there was a guy.
You could always see the other colored facial hair underneath, which always. I remember a Santa sitting on his lap, and I noticed he had like a dark mustache.
Yeah, that kind of thing is creepy, and it really put me off the whole department store Santa thing as a child. And clearly, I've hung on to that.
Right. And you're not the only one. This has
me.
become and open to really pretty negative reviews, including my own, but it's found an audience like the Big Lebowski. It's found a lot of people out there who probably feel the same way that you do about department store Santas and Christmas in general, and there's something really gratifying about seeing Santa so drunk he's peeing on himself while he's sitting in the chair.
Or Santa picking up the bartender with the Santa fetish.
Yeah, I know. It's Lauren Graham, Gilmore Girls Lauren Graham, and I do really like it.
Funny.
She's very cute, yeah. She's got a couple of really good lines when they actually go back to her place.
But, Santa having sex with people in the department store dressing rooms.
That's true.
I mean,
and you know what? Here's something to be said for it. It's one of John Ritter's great performances.
You know what?
He's very, very funny in it, and he was the one thing that I really did like about this
movie. And he's really charming. I mean, he actually manages to pull off the role. He's the department store manager, and he is a nice guy, and he likes Christmas, and he wants kids to be happy, and he wants to have a nice Santa and his elf in his store. I mean, he is filled with just the warmth of human goodness, and yet you don't hate him.
No, you don't.
He's absolutely charming in it, and you're right. And he is the one warm and fuzzy thing about this movie.
And it's sincere and it's genuine.
Yeah.
All right, Christmas Eve, this is how I'm spending it. I'm going to rent Bad Santa, and I'm going to give it a second chance. How about that?
Oh, my God, this is my good deed
Doesn't
for the
that warm
year.
the cockles of your heart?
It surely does. It surely does.
Until next time, I'm Ken Fox.
And I'm Maitland McDonough. And don't mind us. Happy holidays, and thank you for watching Movie Talk.
Hey, it's snowing.
Wow. Okay, that's cool.
Hey, wait!
Hey, don't do that. Don't do that. No, stop.
Yay! Wow! Hey! No, hey! Scoop that, buddy.